We talk about Joe Rogan, Bill Maher, Tulsi Gabbard, these Democrats, Elon Musk, these Democrats who have come over and sided more with the conservatives recently. It goes way further than that. Tim Robbins, one of the biggest lib actors in one of the biggest lib industries, obviously, in Hollywood, he just came out and he admitted to Russell Brand that the COVID lockdowns changed his mind.
We went into lockdown with healthy people and with children, and that didn't seem to be wise to me. So I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the intricacies of data on this. All I can respond to is as someone that is concerned about what the result of those doctrines, that policy had on us as human beings. And it's not good. We turned into tribal, angry, vengeful people. And I don't think that's something that is sustainable for the earth, that we start demonizing people that don't agree with our particular health policies and turn them into monsters.
Look, I'm not a scientist. Look, I didn't know, but this wasn't good. That is the opinion of a lot of liberals who initially bought into all the COVID hysteria and Dr. Fauci and lockdown and 6 feet apart and wear the hanky on your face and trust the science. They started out seriously believing that. Some of us didn't start out believing that, okay? Some of us, I don't want to name any names here, okay? I don't want to toot my own horn. Some of us understood what COVID was from the very beginning. Some of us, when they tried to lock us down and actually forced us to lock down in California, some of us were back in the office within 36 hours because some of us called up Jeremy Boring and said, Jeremy, I'm not doing this. This is all ridiculous. I'm showing up to work tomorrow. And he said, okay, understood. I'm already at the office. Okay, so I'm not saying who would have done such a thing. It was me. It was me. Some of us knew it, and I'm sure many of you knew that from the beginning as well. But there were a lot of liberals who very earnestly believed the science and the lab coats and the masks and the Fauci. And then realized, wait a second, are we the baddies? They had that reaction. They said, wait, the thing that we all clamored for, maybe those crazy right-wing fanatical Republican extremists, maybe they were onto something. COVID-19 is being called the Great Reset. Not just by tinfoil hat people, but by very, very powerful elites. Klaus Schwab, the head of the World Economic Forum, his various associates, Yuval Harari, one of the philosophers behind the Great Reset in the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, world leaders. You see this with King Charles of England. You see this with lots of other political leaders who are saying, COVID-19 is the opportunity to reset our economy and our food production and our political order and our technology. And what does the Great Reset always amount to? It amounts to eat the bugs, live in the pods, give up your rights, own nothing and be happy, surveillance everywhere, no political sovereignty. It's a reset of our very humanity. That's what they want it to be. And that's insane and terrible, and we should fight it tooth and nail. But COVID-19 provides another opportunity for another great reset. COVID-19 provides an opportunity to reset political alliances. I don't think that I am being overly optimistic here or hyperbolic. There are lots of people who got very red-pilled during COVID, during the lockdowns. A lot of people who trusted the entire liberal establishment for their whole freaking lives, who said, wait, they lied to me about this. They lied to me in such an egregious way. What else have they been lying about? And this is the moment for Republicans and conservatives and just normal people to capitalize on that and say, yeah, come on in. Come on in, Tim Robbins. The water is warm. This is not just your 1980s battle between the left and the right and the Democrats and the Republicans. Politics means applying eternal principles to changing circumstances, and that means that political alliances will change over time. And one of the problems with the squishes, where they really err, and I think they err earnestly and unwittingly and sincerely, but they find a lot of comfort in play acting the political battles of the 1980s. And they use all the language of the 1960s through the 1980s, the period that they consider to be the halcyon days of the conservative movement, the days of William F. Buckley Jr. and Ronald Reagan. And so they'll use these terms. They'll say, we've got to fight the collectivists. We need free markets for the smallest minority of all, the individual. And they use all these cute lines that they heard in reruns from Milton Friedman and Bill Buckley and all the rest of them. And they pretend that they're still fighting Soviet communism as an international conspiracy. The conspiracies have changed. The Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. The threats are different, okay? So I'm not saying that we need to chuck out all the things we learned during that movement, but we have to have the guts and the political vision to fight the battles that are actually happening right now. And one of those battles, probably the biggest battle, is not between left and right and Republican and Democrat and all the rest of it. It's between the secular globalists and the traditional nationalists, the conservatives, the people who like their communities. Donald Trump pointed this out. He said the battle of our age is between globalism and nationalism. And by globalism, we're not talking about the Catholic Empire of the Middle Ages. We're talking about Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum and the UN peddling abortion and contraception and weird bugs and mass migration and destroying our economies and all the terrible stuff that you have seen that the libs have used COVID-19 to promote. That's what it's about. And so this is our opportunity. Are we going to welcome in the Tim Robbinses? Are we going to win them over or not? Are we going to keep play acting the battles from the 1980s? People are moving over to our side. The rest of the show continues now. You don't want to miss it. If you're not a member, click the link in the description and join us.